early slate here on Wednesday. It's a 4-gamer. We're gonna have to try and the rules that before we get into every game by game. Want to try to find a way to get a little bit different wherever you can, obviously. And I think trying to avoid fully stacking is usually a good idea, just a way of differentiating your build because you're gonna have a hard time finding really low owned stacks. That's my first thoughts. Anything that you want to throw in there?
No, I guess we'll just get to it. We got plenty of
Yeah, anytime.
There's some interesting things going on.
Yeah, well, let's we'll do it. We'll pull up your screen and we'll go game by game. I think that's probably the best way to approach it. And all right.
Again, we got some time, so we could just do game by game.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, we're right in variant zone, right? With Andrew Haneytown, he on the one hand could project to be the best play on the slate, and on the other hand could provide an incredible stacking opportunity for Arizona. I currently am doing the latter in that stacking Arizona.
Okay.
That's what I am. That's the current thing. But again, I haven't talked any of this through yet, so I need some help. This is what I was thinking of doing right now, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's very strange because we really it's just a bullpen game for Arizona today, so it's going to be hard to figure out like all the matchups and everything for Texas. I like the idea that you mentioned right there. That's one way to get different. We talk about this all the time. I have interest in both Heaney and I'm totally good with that Arizona take. I think that makes a lot of sense. I also think if you don't want to take a full stack, just remember Heaney gives up a lot of home runs. I do think this is a good matchup for him for what it's worth. Just take a quick look because he was with the Dodgers last year. I know he's faced these guys a few times and just get an idea of how he did against them. Not that it necessarily matters with him because he's just at times the most unhittable guy in baseball, and even in the same game, then he literally will walk 4 guys and give up back-to-back home runs afterwards. Like you just don't know what you're going to get. Not much.
And you can do he could do both. Like
against the Yankees. Yeah.
Well, he gave up like 3 straight home runs, and he still ended up like 20 fantasy points or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It's an interesting point. Like if there was somebody you really liked on the other side today, which I don't know if there really is necessarily on like one specific bat that really stands out for Arizona. But he is the kind of guy you can take a hitter against on a 4-game slate and pitch him if you want to. Maybe a Christian Walker or something. Usually I'd want like some speed upside, but I don't know if I love these guys quite enough. What's that?
What about that Carroll guy?
Carroll, problem, yeah, lefty, really expensive, and he's questionable, I think, still. So I'm not sure. My guess is he doesn't play today. Just a guess. The fact that he's questionable and they're facing a lefty, that's pretty much it. All right.
Yeah, you got to like Valdez, right?
Yeah, I mean it's hard not to like Valdez, but I mean there's other options. There's other guys we can talk about that may seem a little weird. I think you could definitely play both of these pitchers. It's hard for me to get excited about the hitting in this game because I still have respect for Logan Webb, and I have respect for Valdez. They're both very good pitchers. Neither one of them walk a ton of guys. If you're going to take like a one-off type of thing and try and maybe get different with some individual bats, I think Mitch Haniger is certainly a good candidate for that. At 3,400, he's got a really nice price on him against Valdez. If you were going to take one shot, and if you're going to take a shot on the other side, if you're going to take a shot on the other side against Webb, I think you'll see some ownership on Kyle Tucker and Jordan Alvarez. I think that's totally fine. I'm just waiting for Abreu to eventually hit some home run. I don't know what happened to him. I can't believe this is just what's happened, 2 years removed from winning the MVP or a year and a half or whatever it is. So I don't. There's actually no individual bats that really profile like a great play except for Tucker and Alvarez, who both have some ownership. So I'm probably off the hitting here. Like both pitchers. Prefer Valdez for what it's worth, but have no problem with playing a slightly lower owned, what's it called? A slightly lower owned Logan Webb against a very overrated Houston offense. That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah, I'm actually getting some Houston today. so far. But then I might have changed my mind. It depends on we have something else to talk about in a second. But the Houston, I'm definitely getting Houston as one of the teams I'm trying. But like I said, it's a 4-game slate. It's gonna come down. It's gonna come down to again how you construct. Like if you're gonna be able to get away with your 4-2-1-1s and get them right. I think you're probably right. I think it's probably the way you have to handle today. But I do like Valdez. He's the safest. I mean, I think that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's get some more variants. Okay, so we got the ultimate variants going on. We have the big Dodger hype train pitcher coming up, right? Who's supposed to be the freaking nuts, right? The Stone, and let's get him going against the freaking world champs with Bryce Harper back. You know what I mean? Like what to do? You know, do you play Stone at 5K? Do you play the Phillies? And then on the other hand, you have Nola, who God knows what's going on with him, and he's facing a Dodger team coming off of 13 runs. So I kind of want to play Nola.
13 runs back to back. 13 runs.
Right. I kind of want to play Nola because it makes so little sense. So I kind of want to do that. And I wanted to get your opinion on Stone in general and what you think they might do with him, because I mean this is obviously something you want to do, right? I mean he's 5K and supposed to be an incredible prospect. Why not play him? So what do you think of all this stuff?
Yeah, strange to say that in a year or two we may be talking about Stone as being the best, like he would be the best pitcher on this slate, possibly. You know what I mean? Maybe by next year.
Right.
He's got tremendous stuff. Good control over his over the strikeout pitches, which is what you like to see. I don't really worry about minor league ERA numbers and stuff like that, because when we see what happens all the time, these guys and they come up and they've never seen them before, and they're tough to hit. So I mean both these pitchers are definitely on my list. I have no problem with Nola on the side because of the size of the slate and 20% ownership and the cheap price and he struggled and all that. I also have no problem going the other way and taking the hitting on both sides. I really, again, it's kind of hard to know, exactly what to say. I do know that these games will be, you'll get guys more ownership in the teens at least, rather than I don't know. I think Texas is going to be pretty popular. I think San Diego is going to be really popular. But I like the idea of these teams, and I looked. Dodgers lineup just came out. Hayward's batting 5th, I believe. He's been hitting this year. I'm not sure how much I buy into the long term, but I've seen the Dodgers resurrect plenty of guys before. Favorite bats would be pretty obvious, but one thing I'll throw at Freeman, Betts, Bryce Harper. But I do like James Outman. They're down in that 6 hole that they're sort of keeping him in. Let me just make sure that he's in that starting lineup, because I saw the starting lineup came out. I was looking at it on my watch, and then I didn't actually see the full list. So yeah, Outman's in there. Okay, Outman, yeah, 6th. I like the idea of Outman. Outman, Betts, Freeman, Smith, Muncy are all tremendous plays, I feel like, or guys to take shots on. In general, I'd rather attack Nola with lefties than righties. And then it's hard not to have some interest in a patient Philadelphia team against a rookie, even though he's a top prospect. Favorite bats would be Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, nothing way off the board or whatever. But I kind of like Brandon Marsh's at low ownership down in the 7 hole. I think he's a guy who you can get low ownership on. That's the way I'm.
Not that it matters at 5K, but has there been any scuttlebutt about what kind of leash they might give this guy?
It's kind of hard to get a feel for. My guess is the standard. Part of the reason they don't do it sometimes is because the 75 pitches that he may throw may turn into 90 if he's got like a one hitter going or something. You know what I mean? So my guess is you could probably count on somewhere in that 80 range. And it's a tough matchup. I mean, these Phillies are tough. Although the Dodgers they've not looked tough against the Dodgers lately. Urias just dismantled them last night.
But is he a guy that, like, if it's if it's 2-0 in like the 4th and there's 2nd and 3rd, will they pull him out? You know what I mean? Like,
on his pitch count. If he's 70-something pitches and they're seeing something, my guess is they try to get him 75 or 80 pitches, but if they're down 2-0 in the 2nd and 3rd, that means he's probably already thrown around 65, 70 pitches. So yeah, they definitely might consider doing that. I don't have a great feel for it. I think it's a very tough thing to know because I honestly don't know that they know. I think they probably have an idea of wanting to get him 75 to 85, and they'll probably, because he's pitching at home and it's just, first start and everything, they'll probably want to give him a chance if things are going well to potentially get the win if that was in an opportunity.
I've got to tell you, for a little 4-game slate, this slate has options. I'm looking at this
Yeah.
This last game, even, I'm seeing Lugo as rating is like one of the top 3. I'm seeing Heaney, Valdez, and Lugo as one they're going to get the most ownership or whatever, even more than Nola somehow. But I don't think Seth Lugo's that great. I don't know. I might try some Cincinnati's. So I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere. Padres obviously look like a good play. But you have to think they're going to be owned. I think that I was about to do. It's so funny. I was just about to do what you do. I was about to just go right into like my slate summary. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So before I do that, what do you think of this game?
So I love Cincinnati as a contrarian, and I don't think you necessarily need to fully stack them because they're a tough team to feel like you're going to get there, but fully stacking. But I am totally good with everyone in Cincinnati, and I think what I probably end up doing is use them as my main 3-man. Or something like that. Spencer Steer, Friedel, Fraley, Stevenson in India. Those 5 I like quite a bit. So I'm high on them. It's so popular. It's going to be so chalky, San Diego. I do like them. They seem like the obvious number 1 stack. But I'm going to try to do not try. I will not have a 5-man San Diego stack no matter what. I just don't think it's profitable. It's too hard to get different. I do like them the most. I will have a 4-man that I can mix with another 4-man. Maybe you can get away with a San Diego 5-3 with Arizona or something like that. But most likely, I think that it's more of going to be a mini stacking situation. The lowest owned bats on which I think is important for San Diego. We don't know what their lineup is, and they sort of threw a loop last night. They had 3 first basemen. They're going to have at least 2 today. Cronenworth and Carpenter, you think will be there. Cronenworth should be lower owned, and he won't be pulled out of the game if a lefty comes in, like Carpenter will, most likely. And I think you could play the bottom of it with Kim and Grisham to be a little different. But obviously, the Machado, Tatis, Soto, Bogarts are all really, really strong plays. It's just I don't want to eat that ownership as a full stack. So that's what I think. So why don't you give us your summary sheets?
Yeah. So. I think right now I'm going to announce that my top owned stacks are going to be the aforementioned Arizona Diamondbacks and the now mentioned Cincinnati Reds. I think that's going to be the deal. I don't know if that's exactly what's going to be in the big mind because I'm going to play that one too. But as far as my overall exposure, that's what I think I'm going to end up doing. I like the stacking against Heaney thing. And I definitely like stacking against Lugo. And where we're going to be a little different is that I'm a little more stubborn, and I'll end up with 5-man Cincinnati's. I'll end up like these guys that have no chance. You know what I mean? I'll have oh yeah, so I got a 5-man stack. Where's who's Jay Barrero? Well, I need him. You know what I mean? So I'll probably end up a little more pure like that. But I do like the Cincinnati side. And as far as pitching goes, I think my highest owned pitcher is going to end up being Nola, maybe. Nola Valdez, something like that. And I'm forcing in at least 30% stone. I'm a believer. What I probably should do is play some Phillies. but I'll be rooting. I'll be rooting for the Dodger farm system.
Yeah, I'm having a very hard time with the pitching, even still. Heaney, Webb, Valdez, Nola, and Stone are all interesting to me for different reasons. Probably end up the highest on Valdez, Heaney, and Nola, even though that's pretty chalky.
Yeah, but you're going to play Cincinnati. You know what I mean? You don't need to.
Right. You don't need to go see that. And remember, not all the things we talk about when we do these shows is trying to win the tournament with 10,000 people. Some of it we're trying to beat a few hundred people. And I just think it's important to remember that kind of stuff. It keeps coming up for me when I'm playing the NBA. I talked about it a little bit last night, because when you're really trying to just beat a couple hundred people or a few hundred people or 500 people, even whatever, anything less than 1,000, you can get away with a bunch of guys in the 10% owned range. I mean, nobody in the NBA last night had a guy single digit owned that won a tournament. And that's sort of how you want to treat these. The difference with baseball, though, is you do want, for the hitting at least, because it's just so high variance. You definitely want to try to get a couple of these sub 10 percenters in. And I think that Cincinnati and Arizona are a good way to do that today. So that's pretty much my thoughts for it. Sheets, anything else before we get out of here?
I don't think so. No, I think we're good. I'm out for live today.
Okay.
And just so you guys know, I will be putting out an MMA video tomorrow, including for those of you. I mean, you guys forgot about this, but I won a seat to like this live final playoff thing. It's like worth 10K, and the first round of that is this weekend.
Oh, awesome!
So is that, and the card is in New Jersey, and to follow up on something we brought up earlier, DraftKings is putting me in the suite. The only question is if I'm going to feel up to going.
Yeah,
so we'll see how it all shakes out. But watch for that content tomorrow, and let's take something down tonight.
Absolutely, sounds good, buddy. All right, well, enjoy the day. And one other thing I wanted to add about this early slate is definitely you can leave a lot of money on the table if you want to.
Oh wait, you know what I didn't think about? Is there any rain on this slate or no?
Nothing. Nothing that I've got. Yeah.
I know you're not guaranteeing anything. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I didn't speak out of turn.
I mean,
all right,
you about it.
everybody.